What's up, everybody? Let me get this. Set up here. Let's see. Let me see. All right. Hey, what's up, everybody? All right, so. Yeah. What's up, Hector? Glad you can make it, Chris. Glad you can make it, Cup. Where is... All right, let's... Where's a good place to try some of this? You know what? Before I do that, I want to just practice. We'll just practice a little bit. Move these out the way. I gotta practice some of the controller. Yeah, so I can practice if I want. If I'm uncertain, I can do a test. Doesn't have all the shading because I do that manually, but it's just so I don't have to fuck up the art practicing. I'm like, I don't know how to do. I know I want these controller cables to be gray because that's how they were on the Dreamcast, but I wanted this purple shadow, so I'm just uncertain which one to add. If it'll be too purpley. I might have to add it after the fact. Ah, thanks, Hector. Yeah, my initial plan with Game Cave back in 2012 was to do it as manga size. Roughly 8.5 by 5.5. Piece of paper cut in half. But just for whatever reason, it just didn't seem to work out at the time. But the way they're charging for printing now, I can do the same page count, which would be 96 pages. 96 pages, but I can double it, so 192 page. Same content across 192 pages, just smaller. And I personally, man, it's the kind of shit I read. I read all my stuff is digest size. I can take it with me. And I'm like, well, why don't I just make the fucking shit I'm actually using, you know? Which, I won't lie, is a colossal pain in my ass to go and rebuild all the templates, but, you know, it actually looks like the way I envisioned it, so. I don't know about that one. Close. I think there's something more to that, actually. So, why don't I dig up... this one. Yeah. And it means I can do roughy art, you know, because the roughies are small enough, they print small enough that any of the super looseness kind of like works, you know, with the texturing and everything, so. It means that I can produce comics that are essentially roughies, full color, you know, like, and I'm not over here like noodling the fuck out of panels, which is why I got out of comics to begin with. Like, you know, I just spent years doing these comics where I was just noodling every panel, you know, and watching colorists just. But my roughies that I've been doing lately, which I'm calling more scribblies because they're not quite a roughie, they're like one above, you know, but I think I've gotten so much better at it. If you look at the Valkyrie cover, kind of like on forward, you know, like you can see, like, the Youngblood sketch is a good example, right? So if you mix that with, you know, my background digipaints, I think it works, you know. I think it works. I mean, enough for one guy, right? I don't have to pay anyone to do anything. I'm really picky about these, like, grays. That's when people are like, what colors do you use? I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I have to figure it out per element, and then I try to keep a lot of the colors consistent. I'm trying to reuse a lot of the same colors in uh, in the piece, which helps create harmony, you know? So, alright. We'll see about that. So I'm going to start with this, and this. Alright. I'll start with these three. see where that gets me. Later, dude. See if I can simplify that a little bit. This part's pretty monotonous, folks, so if you got questions, now's the time to ask them. Because it's not going to require a lot of brain power from me. Ah, son of a bitch. Gotta be careful about doing that. Hey, what's up, Amanda? Hector was. He's gone now. I only prefer subtitles. I don't like any dubs. I can kind of tolerate the dub on Death Note because they talk fast. Other than that, I only read. I prefer the Japanese acting. I don't even think American acting comes close. And it's actually proven that when you read, your brain's more engaged with the story. Hey, no talking about it, bro. No one's seen that shit yet. I don't want to hear one word about it. Yeah, I don't want to get into it, bro. I'm gonna go see it tomorrow. Everyone else can go see it. Talk about it later. You know the difference between plot and story, Armando? Plot is what happens. Story is the emotion of going through it. So when I go see a movie about fucking Titanic, I know the fucking boat sinks. It's not the point. Plot is irrelevant. Story is the characters experiencing the situation. That's why you can make a movie about two people stuck in a room. It's not about how do they get out the room? Is there some secret thing? No, it's plot is the least important part. It's just the experience. That's why fucking poker movies can be fun with just two people sitting down playing cards. It's the emotions, it's not the turns. Did my teachers ever like my unique style? Did they like... I think my teachers recognized I had talent. The problem I ran into is, say in high school, my art teacher wanted me to do, you know, uh, fine art, still art, you know. She wanted me to learn how to paint objects. But I also was the one person in class who could do three-dimensional drawings pretty easily compared to everyone else. Like, I spent most of my time drawing three-dimensional cubes and boxes. But she was insistent. She didn't like me drawing comic book characters, you know, anime characters or... So I would spend all my time doing still life drawing giant video game. I would enlarge game objects. I would take video game controllers, set them up, and then I would make them super huge. I'd scale everything up, you know, which, you know, she didn't have a problem with. She was a nice lady, but she would go, well, you know, just wasn't what she was expecting, right? This is 1994, 95, you know. So it would annoy her, I think, to a large extent. Then in college, it just became a problem with I was the classes were so not what I was expecting to do. I thought I was going to learn shit, learn how to actually I don't know, paint, do things. And a lot of times it was just, here's a new program, we're learning Maya this week. Here's a new program, we're learning After Effects. And we weren't actually making things, we were spending a lot of time learning where buttons were, and recreating what the teacher would make. And I'm like, okay, I get maybe introductory, right? Like if it's an 11-week class, the first 4 weeks, you recreate what the teacher made. Then maybe the next 4 weeks, you're, if it, I think 11 or 12-week classes. The next 4 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, you're developing or doing something, on your own, and then the last one, 100% something. But what it turned out to be was I spent all my fucking time in these classes working on freelance, and doing whatever I needed to pass the class. And when a class had something that, you know, was beneficial to me, I pay attention. But other than that, no. As for my art style, I didn't really. I don't know, man. Like my art was always weird. I think a lot of people expected me to be like some mainstream DC Marvel artist. As weird as that sounds, but I never fit in with the indie comics people, and I didn't fit in with the people who are like all about Marvel DC. So. And then when I got a t-shirt job, a lot of my art friends and some art teachers, they see me working on it in class, and they're like, "Well, I thought you wanted to do comics or something." I'm like, I gotta pay my fucking student loans back, guys. You know, like while I was in college, I'm like, I gotta pay these loans back. I gotta get a job that pays a regular fucking bill. You know, comics don't pay shit. I learned that very quickly, even from the big two, dude. Like a certain percentage of people are making a good living, and everyone else is fucking hustling to get by. Yeah, but you're 10 or 11. What you should have been doing is instead of learning to draw from pictures of, say, or if you're instead of learning to draw from drawings of Batman, you should have been learning to redraw from statues of Batman. Like, go get a statue of Batman. And then you can rotate the statue left or right and start learning how to think three-dimensionally. Yeah. Yeah, but the problem with learning from people's drawings are every bit of drawing is a shorthand. Even this, there's shorthands. There's things I'm doing where I'm breaking rules that I know don't work because I need it to work in the piece. But you can't learn from like people's shorthand. You got to learn how to do it, as right as you can, as accurate as possible, and then sort of develop. So, statues are a really great way of getting your head around a subject material you might be more interested in, say, versus a piece of fruit. Um, but for me, when the McFarlane figures finally came out, I was just practicing from learning those. And I knew this because I was going to Comic Con, started going to Comic Con in 1992, and I would just see these arguments come up time and time again. Your art's flat. People were drawing from comic book pages and turning in. They were showing samples of art they redrew, like Frankensteining panels together to create their own new panels. Yeah, that guy doesn't get enough respect in the industry. Ah, god damn! I gotta stop. Why am I dropping pencils today? I haven't dropped pencils in a while. Today I'm dropping pencils left and right. No, maybe it's a budget, man. I don't know. When something stops being something I care about, I don't go around getting worked out. I just stop watching it. Yeah, that's how it works for me. I used to get passionate about it. You know what it does? Just nothing. They don't care. Everything has its run, man. You know. And if their way of keeping that show going so people can keep their jobs is to cut the animation and budget in half, then that's what they'll do. You know. Hey, what's up, Josh? There's plenty of good shows out today, bro. You know, you just get nostalgic. Every generation has its standouts and its fucking numbskulls. You know? When I was a kid, The Real Ghostbusters was a great cartoon. But there was a lot of shit cartoons. Rambo, Chuck Norris. There's a bunch of fucking dumb cartoons. Then you get the Batman cartoon and DuckTales, and everyone remembers that, but there was a bunch of bullshit cartoons, too. People don't remember as much, you know? Camp Candy. You just getting to the point where you get to that age where you can start to notice, well, it's not like the stuff I grew up with. What's my point? Don't get so nostalgic. It's not getting worse. Some things are better, some things are worse. I think the thing to remember is people have to make that shit, you know? And I'm the guy that constantly has to work on projects that fucking don't get appreciated, so I understand the pain. And if you really think you're going to spend most of your career working on awesome shit, be prepared to be extremely disappointed. The kids point. I mean, those are the realities of production, and that's the stuff that I was always interested in as a kid. Like, that's why I read Cinefex and Screenwriters Magazine. That has nothing to do with it, Kyle. Are you kidding me? You're funny, man. It's cute. It's a silly thing to say. Yes, they're only taking paychecks and not trying their best. I think you got to remember that show's last what fucking 11 seasons. You know, like go start a comic strip today and get back to me 11 years from now and tell me how it's grown. You know, it changes. Things change. You know, one of my favorite comics of all time is The Savage Dragon. I stopped reading it regularly around issue 100, 120. It's not because it's a bad comic. It's just things change. Things become different, especially the longer they go on. Yeah, I can't abide by that statement, Cuphead. When you start working on things, get back to me. You can tell me from experience, all right? Otherwise, it's just an opinion. And by the way, it's a job, bro. It's a job. There's only so much money that can be spent. You know, you don't know what the budgets are. Comic Book Men just got canceled. Doesn't matter if I'm right. Go experience some stuff. But you know, you got to be very careful when you start saying, "Hey, people just do things for money." Man, people only do things for money. Once we have a universal basic income and everyone around here can do shit because they're really passionate about doing it, everything's a job. And in jobs, there are. Let me give you the deal, bro. In jobs, there are limitations. Limitations of budget, limitations of scope, limitations of time, limitations of talent. You may think you have the ability to do something, and then the rubber meets the road, and you find out even with 20 other people behind you, it can't be made. Not like the dream. You just don't know. And if it's easy to make, but you have half the budget, then there's only so much you can do. You just have to recycle frames of animation. This is nothing new. Go look at Disney movies that recycle animation sequences. They had to, you know, like there's like 3 or 4 different dance numbers that get reused between Robin Hood and Jungle Book. And that's because they had a very limited budget. Is there such thing as a mixed media comic? No, and I'll tell you why. You know how long it would take? Look how long this is taking. One page is going to take, what, a week? And then people read it in 2 seconds. That's the problem. Sometimes people would do like in manga, right? They do the first opening pages in mixed media, right? Those first 4 pages will be like color pencil and gouache and stuff like that. Richard Eisenov, the colorist, started working some of that in back on the Daredevil stuff, especially like with David Mack, you know. So David Mack gets pretty close, but again, you know, it's very difficult to do under time constraints. Yeah, give it a shot. If you're passionate about it, do it. I save this stuff for commissions. I would not want to do it for an entire book. But when anything in life, man, the more you learn how hard it is to do something, the more you can appreciate that anything gets done at all. So I can take a movie, I may not like the movie, but I can take sequences and go, that is fucking amazing. I don't know how they did that. One of them in particular, the Hulkbuster fight from Age of Ultron. Not my favorite Marvel movie, but that sequence, you know, the entire pacing of it, the acting, the storytelling, the visual effects, mixing all those live action plates with the CG plates, it's very complicated. But then people go, but I didn't like the movie because some YouTube channel told me it's not really good. Like, look at the visual effects shots. Look at the way it's paced, the way it's laid out. It's very complicated. It's very complicated. But this is why I can't get into a lot of movie channels and stuff like that, because they're talking from a point of, I watched it, here's my opinion. You know, I'm looking at it from, what the fuck how did they, between the mocap, the live action shots, the set rebuilds that they have to do, not even including the stereography. The guys have to trace those frames. I mean, it's very complicated. It wasn't Voltron. Wasn't Voltron in anime? Yeah. It was called Go Lion Beast Force or something. You can watch the originals with subtitles. There's a YouTube channel that has all of them. That's actually, I think, approved by whoever owns the rights now. The story was way darker, man. Way darker. The theme song sucked, but the story in the original Voltron, before they brought it over here, they cut it up. But the original Go Lion Beast Force or whatever, the story's way better. Dark. Dark. And it's a kid's cartoon. But the Voltron theme song is way better. I don't know about America, man. I don't know. It's just different sensibilities. Certain cultures are better at certain things. They get animation and pacing. When it comes to, our live action, realistic special effects, no one's in the world's better. Sorry, I don't see the South Korean Game of Thrones doing well, or, Infinity War. We all have our talents, but I've always preferred foreign animation to American, Except for some standouts, right? Like the Batman stuff was dope. The Disney stuff when they had their own studio back in the day when they're doing like DuckTales. Those were fun. I mean, all the major in-betweens were done overseas. The primaries were here. But those cats get taught how to draw from the beginning, right? So they're going to be better. No way around that. French, too. A lot of great French animation. Keep this background fairly loose. Otherwise I'll be here for 10 years. Anime. Everyone's been saying that. Hey man, here's what I do. Here's what I do with anime. I pay for it. Alright? I pay for Crunchyroll. I even paid for fucking Strike, whatever that was on Amazon until they rolled it in. I pay for my Netflix subscriptions. And I buy my manga. So anything else is up to them to correct. Not much more I can do than that. Yeah, Gargoyles was dope. I like a lot of older British cartoons too, man. Like fucking Danger Mouse and Count Duckula. They were fun. Yeah, well, that's because they can't afford to buy it. But when they can, once they get jobs, they should be spending, some dollars here and there. Be responsible, you know. I have a budget, but rather than spending my money on fucking Hot Toys and every AAA video game that comes out, I spend it on the things that, I watch and love and appreciate. And anime is at the highest of that list right at this point in my life, and kind of has been most of my life. And it's never been more affordable. It used to cost me and when I was in the army, it would cost me almost $100 to get a set of like 6 or 8 episodes or something. You know, like Lotus War or uh, the Fatal Fury films. And it would be like $68 to get like 4 episodes of Evangelion. Four, dog, 4 episodes on videotape, VHS. You know, $68. They make their money on that, and they make their money on licensing or like merchandise. So if you buy some merch every now and then for your birthday, support the shows you like. Get a good deal on a box set of manga or something. You can support in small ways, not every month with all your money and everything else. Like I remember, for just about every anime, man. Like I used to get Evangelion, you know, Eiko Bubblegum Crisis, Gunsmith Cats. It was not cheap. So when I was in the army, I used to have to budget between, anime and art supplies. What I didn't do was go out and drink. And believe me, I'd get made fun of because you're buying. Is that hentai? No, it's not fucking hentai, man. It's the Hakenden. I bought the Hakenden. It was like $124 for the whole set of the Hakenden. And these guys were like, "Is that like hentai?" I'm like, "No, it's the fucking Hakenden. It's the Legend of the Eight Dog Warriors." And one guy was like, I'll watch it. And then he's like, "I don't know what the fuck's going on." I'm like, "I get it. It's not for you." It's a tricky anime to watch to begin with, but still has a great setup. And then I watched Dragon Half, and they'd be way confused by that, which is still like in my all-time top 5 anime of all time. There's only like 2 fucking episodes. Although I just bought the Omnibus manga, Volume 1, so I'm finally getting able to read it. Legit, you know. But I get it, you know, like as Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood came out, I wasn't waiting for the official, you know, I got the fucking streams, I got the fucking fan dubs, you know, I watch it. However, I own the whole fucking thing on Blu-ray, you know? So as soon as it was available, I bought it. You know, there's always things you can do, like Dragon Quest. I don't want any Dragon Quest 11's finally coming out. I could probably get $12 off, you know. But it's fucking Dragon Quest. They don't make these very often, so I'm paying full price. You know. No. I want to play Chicken Bomb on my Switch though. I'm looking forward to that. Yep. I'm gonna try to get them into Megavisions issue 8. See if we can do an interview or something on it. I'm gonna make a push. I'm gonna pull some of that Rob executive orders. Like, I'm picking something out, guys, and I think this shit should be in the magazine. Full force. I love great pixel art and humor. The game can make me laugh, dude. It's good to go. Hey, what's up? I'm sure there's stories out there, but I definitely want to get them in the magazine. I will, I will, I will push. I don't think it's gonna be a hard sell. Nope. Haven't followed Guild Wars since Angry Joe reviewed that Guild Wars 2. Probably don't want to get into it, man. If you think maybe Rob doesn't want to get into it, then Rob probably doesn't want to get into it. You thought correctly. Then I don't care. They'll work it out. Whatever it is, they'll work it out. They used to argue on AOL boards when I was a kid. CompuServe before that, Prodigy before that. And when I was in the Army, it was the Ain't It Cool News talkbacks. Then the IGN boards, then NeoGAF. Now it's Twitter. ICQ. I couldn't get the internet working very well. When I was in that ICQ was really big when I was in the Army, but the problem was that I was in Germany and they were paying per. It was super expensive to be running a chat stream, so I wasn't really active on ICQ boards. Or, news.net feeds or whatever. I mean, it was so expensive that, I once easily got like a $600 fucking bill for playing Half-Life Online, so I was like, well, what's enough of that? I don't know, man. I don't care. Put it that way. They gotta work it out. They gotta work it out. They're a company, they'll work it out. I don't know anything about it, man. And quite frankly, given my career, I gotta be careful what I say about employers, because I'll just get in fucking trouble. I've gotten in enough trouble standing up for employee rights. Trying to make. Yeah, of course I do. I use, not like I'm jacking poses, but yeah, I have to get reference for fucking. I don't memorize characters, man. I can't memorize. I mean, I guess maybe Batman. You know, I don't memorize characters. Nobody does. Even on production. When I was drawing comics, I had to have my own reference. Matter of fact, when I draw GameCube, I gotta have my own reference. I made this shit up and I can't memorize it. I don't fucking know. You know, there's too many pieces involved, too many different things to do to keep it all in the head, man. That's why they create style guides. Because even on Spyro, you'll be working on things, you know, and you'll be like, hey, that's off model or off style. And you're like, oh shit, you're right, it doesn't fit. And I have to go back and make it fit. I'm a hack. Yeah, I'm a hack. I know, right? I can't memorize everything. There are people who do that. Oh, so you gotta like, and meanwhile, all they're doing is like retracing photos. Like, right. Okay. But that's been there my entire life. Yeah. Which is why I show everyone everything I do. You know, like, well, here's what it takes. You want to see how much of a hack I had this guy. You know, I had this guy in an art department once, Mario. Nice guy. But you know, like, so they needed a bunch of 60s Steve Ditko Spider-Man art recreated because they didn't have access to the high-res retro art. Marvel just didn't have that available at the time. It's 2005. So I had these old scans, and then I took them, printed them out, and you know went over it with marker and rebuilt the art so they would have it in high res. And this guy's go, oh man, you're like a tracer, and I'm like, you fucking dick, you know. I'm like, I'm a tracer, bro. You can't even fucking draw, you know. And so this to this very day, dude. You know what I mean? Like, he goes, hey, remember that time I called you a tracer? I'm like, yeah, I never forget, Mario. Thanks. Now, with Spyro is they have a couple lead artists who sort of developed the tone of the art. The art director came up with a style guide that said we're kind of going for this, and then some lead artists did some initial development that created the tone for all of us to sort of like fit. That's how production's done. That's how you can get 13, you know, different artists all producing similar feeling artwork. You know. But that's why they have a thing called a style guide to keep it on the model. What I don't do is I don't dig up people's fan art of characters and use them as reference. I look at the original, and then I'll look at the most recent version of the mainstream characters. And I learned that from doing t-shirts, because if you start to swipe fan art, you get sued. So in this case, I got the original Sonic art from 1 and 2. I got some pieces from Sonic 3 for Knuckles, Sonic Adventure, and then Sonic Mania. And I kind of like go, okay, now I want to do this, you know? So I can see are the bottom of his shoes colored, or was it buckles, you know, or does he have this, does he have that? And that's how, you know, you can make something that feels like Sonic while still adding your own thing versus doing something maybe that'd be way off, whatever, you know? 3D models. It'll be a while. Or what they do is they just look at what other people have done and go, well, I'm going to do this, this, and that. I mean, it happens, you know. It happens a lot. T-shirts are probably the worst. T-shirts are probably the worst. I'm at 90 minutes. Well, this took longer than I thought it would. I'll have to save this piece for when I get to the knuckles so I can try to blend it together. We're at the 90-minute mark, yeah. Goes by fast, folks. Goes by fast. Well, good luck, dude. Love to see people be successful. So, and you can't win if you don't enter. Let's see if I can get this part done really quick. Yeah, I told Ashley she should enter. We'll see if she does. I mean, she's already got her stuff on the site. Why not? I probably won't be on. I gotta exit here in the next 20 minutes. Later. Hey, what's up, Karen? Thank you. I'll be on for 20 minutes. And then I'm out of here. Oh, thanks. Yeah, they came out nice, you know. I mean, there's going to be fluctuation depending on your monitor, but they look pretty bright. So, they look pretty bright. The trick is to do it without applying any pressure to your knuckles. So my hand is perfectly fine. No pain. I won't be doing any more color pencil backgrounds for a while though, because this is just ridiculous. You know, just characters. So I'll be turning down background options moving forward. Because I gotta move on with life, but who knows? The way I did this was I knew, because the idea I had, it was going to get me a lot of promotion. So the idea I had with it, I knew was going to benefit me from a publicity standpoint, and it has. And two, it's going into the next issue of Megavisions. So I'll get to put that in there as well. With the whole thing on Sonic Mania we're doing. So And then how was I doing? How was I doing? I think I was going to use the turquoise for the clouds. The turquoise. Yeah, the turquoise for the clouds. So I can just come here and outline this. And the question will be, how do I... So I think the thing is I was just going to add a little bit of sky within this bounding box, but I need to see my other two pieces to see if that's going to fit right with the other two. Will they have enough bounding box? Yeah, that'll work. So I can do that. Where's my... I gotta dig up my art gun. Oh, there it is. I think it's time to transfer out my piece of... So I'll start this part tomorrow. But this will be this turquoise sky. And I'll just get that going on in there. And then what I'll probably do is I'll outline him in a nice gold, so he kind of like he's a little bright. He'll shine a little bit. We'll do, and then right along the black edge, we'll do a real saturated orange, so he's got a little Wherever it's dark, put a little bit of saturated color right up in there. That's the only part I do like burnishing. Like I'll push pretty hard in those little bits to get a real strong concentration of color in there. Just make some boosh. Alright, so tomorrow we'll get this sky done, and then I'll do this little outline around him and work that out. And then if we still have time, I'll just get this section done down here. And that'll be that. Probably take me into Sunday. I really wanted to be done by it tomorrow, but it'll probably take me into Sunday. But no more backgrounds. We're done doing color pencil backgrounds. Just characters, because this is eating up a little more time than I'd be on Tails and Knuckles right about now. So. Hey, for all those still in the chat room, right now, let's see how many of you are in here. 10 of you. I got 10 of you in here right now, right? I want to float an idea by you guys, just to get a sense. It's only 10 of you, so obviously, you know, take it for what it's worth. But considering in the future doing a Patreon based around doing sketches like I've been doing with the Youngblood thing, like maybe I'd do 2 a month or 4 a month, and like 2 of them I'd pick and 2 of them I'd let people vote on and shit. You know, like something like that, like a character design with the roughies and more in-depth like art discussions and stuff. Considering it. So so it wouldn't be like a fucking, it wouldn't be like support me otherwise I don't get to live kind of thing. It's like, hey, let's make some fun stuff. Let's do character design. Let's produce some fun work, you know, and it's fun money, right? And so stuff like that. Like I'm trying to, and that right there doesn't take up a ton of my fucking time, yeah. And it's not like I'm like, hey, here's the fucking, you know, support Rob or Sketchcraft goes away bullshit, which I don't, you know, that's a, and you know, so definitely thinking about it. So this way there'd be a way everyone can support the show and we can go and do like, oh, I want to do some Youngblood, but you guys want me to go draw My Hero Academia or the new fucking back costume, whatever the hell this shit is. We can go do that, you know? And then work out character design discussions, basically around character design, you know? And maybe color tips or art tips, do like a specific art tip thing. Do I have time for that? What I would do, Hector, is I'm not adding more things to my schedule. I'd be rotating things in and out. So I would take 1 commission a month and then do that in the 2 hours, you know, because it shouldn't take me more than 2 to 6 hours to really think. Like the profit took me about 4 or 5 hours to figure out because the armor I didn't know how I wanted to do it. So I was trying to balance some of that Mobius plat armor with the color schemes of the original Prophet outfit, which was purple and gold. And so, you know, sometimes they take me a little bit more than others, but I think it can be done. Would it be hidden content for patrons only? Yeah, that's the question, right? So what I'm thinking is I would want to be able to promote it. So what I would think is I would pick a character, and that would be what I use to promote the Patreon. You guys would vote on a character, and that would be exclusively on the Patreon. Right? Yeah, that's how I think 50-50. So I would start off with like 2 characters a month and then work into, you know, well, Armando, I'm not going to stop doing any of this stuff. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, none of this shit's going away with the streaming and the YouTube. It's really a way to say, hey, look, if I started doing this for the next 4 to 5 years, can it take over commissions or can it be just a supplement, right? And so if there's a discussion where maybe it'd be like one extra art tip podcast where like, hey, you guys are like, hey, I'd like to know specifically about color pencil rendering, then I can go and make that exclusively for the Patreon people, you know? Because I don't get enough views on the YouTube to justify me sitting here spending 2 hours having discussions about fucking color pencil rendering. So, but on a Patreon, I think that would be worth the exclusive content, you know, stuff like that. And, yeah, hey, yeah, what's up? So, yeah, I just don't want to create anything where it's like I'm fucking like spamming the shit out of people with the word Patreon every day. You know what I mean? Go to my Patreon. Go to my Patreon. Go to my Patreon. Do it or I'll go away. You know, like it's like not true. Like, um, considering it, I haven't made up my mind yet. You know, we shall see. But um, the scribbly thing, yeah. Well, you know, with anything else, it takes time. So. I might plan it for 1 year and be look, I'm going to do this for 1 year, you know, and be like, we'll see where it goes. But I don't know. Like anything else, it requires time and marketing. Oh. All right, so we made a good dent in this. Ate up a little bit of time trying to figure out the controller colors, which I don't have to do tomorrow. The only thing I still have to figure out color-wise is the water, sort of, but not really. The water is going to be a little bit of a thing. But I think I'm going to stick with the foams and the turquoises for that. So, so tomorrow we're going to get, I'll knock out a section of this, so that's out the way, and then I'll wrap up with this and get the ring around the Sonic. The ring around the Sonic. All right, everybody, I'm out of here. Thanks for hanging out. Peace. This is the end of the show. It's time to go. ShopSketchcraft.com. This is where I sell stuff. I just sold a print today. I sold one print today. One print. If you buy that print, they got like 3 left. But if you buy the 3, then, you know, I can go get a low-carb mocha grenadier. It's a low-carb mocha grenadier made with almond milk, a human being. It's only 15 cards or 20 ounces. It's my favorite thing in the world. I love it. I love it so much. ShopSketchcraft.com. Peace. Buy stuff. Please. Thanks.